Sit.
Gotta open up the live stream and just let it be there for a couple minutes.
Days Gone. That's nice. Days
Yeah,
Zombies.
it's pretty fun game.
Oh, okay, man. Sorry, man.
No?
We could talk and chill, man. This is just a not official like some big deal thing. It's more the community. This is what I'm here for, so I have to present it to them
Yeah.
and talk to them.
I just didn't want to be like, ah, I was going like right in the middle of something.
It's perfectly fine. Trust me. You can play music in the background. Get me better for them.
When
Let them hear some.
while you're doing that, I gotta go make a couple of phone calls. If I'm not up, Gary, like legitimately, like start without me.
Oh,
Cause
this.
there's yeah for this, cause
Yeah.
there's some shit that
You can call here, bro. It doesn't matter.
I need to go outside.
Fresh air.
Yeah. But Gary,
Mm.
I mean,
Your handles, it's
yeah,
I'm so used to it, but I see it now.
you just gotta crank the lights, hit record, and then just run sound. And the sound should already be good. And you know how to check it. If it's not, just make sure we're not peaking, and we'll be sitting pretty good. But I hopefully this shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes. But there's a chance that I might be on the phone, unfortunately, for way too fucking
You
long.
should be on the phone with your girl, dude.
I
Okay, folks. We about to go live. About to get it going. What is up, chat? Apologies. Making sure that you guys are here. We'll be taking questions one at a time, folks. One at a time. Before we get started, I'm going to do just a quick 5 to 10 minute impressions about this whole experience and what was it? What is it like? How does it feel? Is it any good? Is it bad? Is it interesting? What's the dynamics? There's a lot to explain, so I won't take up any more of your time. I'm going to go right ahead and dive into it. Guys, first of all, if you're a Metal Gear fan and you've loved the Phantom Pain, the mechanics in this game are pretty much similar, but guess what? There's so many improvements, so much so that I said, wow, what if MGO3 would have had these? So I'm going to do my impressions. I'm going to get into the topic at hand, and we're going to discuss it as much as possible. So as you're looking here, you're watching some of the footage, some of the screenshots specifically of the game, and I'll get into those in a little while. I'll tell you guys what I can about it. But in the end of the day, my personal experience, let's just go over what I got to play and what I got to do. At E3 2017, they had a demo, which was specifically the co-op section of the game. So now this is where it gets interesting, guys. They have on the menu, before you start to play the game, you can actually go ahead and see the single player mode, which we didn't get a taste of. We didn't get to hear one word about. They were very quiet about that. They said they can't talk about it. So that's fine. That's cool. It was like, all right, well, I guess we'll get into that a little later. So besides that, they also got into some other aspects about just the co-op. So there's going to be a separate section for co-op. So there's story, then there's going to be co-op online. So I'm guessing there's going to be multiple different formats, modes to play online. And I'm guessing they're going to focus on both. You know, they already have the story, and I think they're just working on these online components overall. What is going on, chat? I see you guys. Shout out to Hell Visions, Fitch, Church, Bad Human. We got Japanese words that I can't pronounce. What's up, man? I'm not going to answer any questions just yet. I want to get out all of my opinions, so I appreciate y'all in the comments, but save them until I say that we're ready. I want to get out all the information I know because I'll probably answer your question right away. So, like I said, so we focused on playing the co-op online aspect. 4 players, just like you see on the screen here. We had 4 players co-op, and it was a really chill, awesome thing to do. It was a lot of fun, actually. I was surprised on how different the game felt and how special it was because they really improved on the mechanics of the Phantom Pain aspect. Because this is a side game. This isn't Metal Gear Solid. It's Metal Gear Survive. Just like Metal Gear Rising was a side game, this game is just a side game. So what they did with this side story or spin-off, for those who want the right exact term, is they created a really, really awesome experience for players to get into these surviving elements. The whole game overall is extremely focused on survival elements to the point where you have endless amounts of aspects that you'll get really interested in once you find out. And you're like, wow, what is this all about? And I couldn't ask them too much today, but I'll be back there again. But I'll explain it to you like this. You have your health bar. You have your stamina bar. You have your oxygen bar. You have a hungry and thirst bar, and there's a percentage, 100%, and then you can get down to 0. All of these aspects play a crucial role in your playing ability. For example, your stamina is just like other games where if you have no stamina, you can't strike or you can't run. So the stamina is crucial, and managing that stamina is very important. But there's aspects like oxygen that'll be in the gameplay later on. There's other things like hunger and thirst, which You have to keep your hunger and your thirst. These are just small things that you take during the game to keep yourself alive, because this is Metal Gear Survive. So there's some deep elements there that are really, really, really like, wow, like this is gonna really do something different for the series, since it's a spin-off. I'm surprised at how in depth they went into that aspect. And as I looked into it, the percentages drop depending on what happens to you, depending on the mode. And what's really cool to touch on that aspect specifically, you've seen it in the first demo that they ever put out. If you get injured, you have to heal yourself, and you have to literally go into the menu and go into the section and basically recover yourself. These things are real time. You can't pause the game and do them. So while you're fighting off a herd of creatures that will easily try to annihilate you in 2 seconds, you have to heal yourself if necessary. So it's really interesting. It's really fun to see it and to watch it work. And I went and got injured on purpose. Well, not on purpose. I was getting crazy in the combat. We played a mode where we were trying to do exactly what we saw in the demo, but in a different ways. They had a lot more variety, and it was a really deep game. So what it was we had to infiltrate and defend the wormhole generator. Now, this wormhole generator, we're trying to send out a signal and do all this stuff. So at that time, these creatures will be coming by. On the mini menu, what is amazing about it is the mini menu has the predicted routes of where the creatures will come out. These creatures will come out from these wormholes, and they'll be coming by the storms. So I personally ran off to this predicted routes, seen the wormhole where they were coming down. They just dropped down. And of course, you think, okay, what is exactly these creatures? Where are they coming from? What is going on? That's the mystery of the story mode, which I can't tell you about today. But we're talking about the overall gameplay, the mechanics, and every little detail that I can spread. So as they come down, I'm thinking, oh, God, it's the same creatures over and over. Not at all. The first wave had certain creatures. The second wave, there are waves of enemies to survive that scenario. So the first wave were the ones that we saw in the tech demo from last year. The second wave was these really, really odd ones with big heads that you see right here on the screen. There's just a whole different variety of creatures that make it really interesting. And I'm sure they have way more than what we saw. But that was another important part to the game and to everything that is happening. Now, that said, we're going to get into the combat later. I want to talk about some of the elements that they had in the game as far as weapons and gears. So you get 4 pieces of armor, 4 pieces of gear, and these gears you can swap them out, collect different ones. If you look at the menu screen there, you can see specifically what I'm talking about. And in those aspects, there's a lot of elements that can change the way you play. Each person will be able to have one character to do anything and everything. What I mean is there's no classes. There's no like, oh, well, you're going to have to be the sniper class or the tank build. This is freedom for the players to decide what style they want to play and the elements that they want to provide themselves with and their teammates. So we can coordinate, everybody balance out their builds. Oh, hey, man, you're going to be the long range guy. I'll be up close and make sure nobody can attack us. So we can do these type of elements. And what's amazing about it is that the combat is actually really good with the melee. Metal Gear has never been a weapons melee game. It was the best CQC game with hands-on, but melee-wise, it didn't have much other than Metal Gear Rising, which is not a spin-off, just like Survive is. So Metal Gear Rising and Metal Gear Survive have the same elements where you can use an actual sword to do some damage. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But as I was saying, so you have these 4 gears, you have these 4 items that you're going to use for the game. But what's really cool is it's not just these 4 pieces. You're going to have 2 primary weapons. You're going to have 2 secondary weapons. And now these items have the controls have changed. I wish I had a PlayStation 4 controller. Hey, I should have I gotta look for my controller in a minute. Anyway, I was gonna look for my controller, the PlayStation 4 controller. They gave me one at E3. So I'm not confirming a sword, but there is machetes and different weapons, a whole lot of weapons. We'll get into the weapons in a little bit. But the point of it all, what I was trying to make is that you have these items, and the game and the control has changed. R1 and L1, when you play the original, you can look through your scope and do different things with it. This new mechanic, you have your abilities, aka the items you equipped. You hit L1 or R1. If I want to, for example, I want to build a fence on the wall. The way I build the fence is I go and I hit L1 when I have it equipped. So let's say I want to put a trap, I hit R1. So these elements changing the control mechanics in a new way that adds innovation. For example, if you're a Metal Gear fan like me and you've played the Phantom Pain, you dive with the square button. The square button is like God in the MGO 3. But in this game, they put the square button in the X. So if I tap X twice really fast, I will dive. That changes the gameplay because now square is being used for a whole new purpose. You're going to pick up resources and do things with that. You're going to use circle for other options. Now, all the button scheme changed a little bit, but it's for the better of the game. So the game's mechanic-wise felt a little bit different when I put my hands on it because I play the Phantom Pain all the time. And I'm like, wait, I thought this was going to be the Phantom Pain hand controllers. But since they added so much depth to items and how to use them and different ways to play, they changed a lot of it. Even the melee attack system is unique. For example, you can hack and slash like any normal slash. You hold the trigger button and you hit. That's fine. But they added an element of running and attacking with a weapon, creating a really devastating blow, or doing some really focused headshot pokes or whatever. These mechanics flow really good and they're really smooth and they're really interesting. I played as a fighter, so I used melee weapons because I wanted to see. I didn't want to use guns. That's a typical build. Now, all of those aspects are a lot of fun when you hang out with a team. You're trying to defend the generator, and you're basically there to defend the generator on this mission that we did. So as we defend the generator, everybody's abilities, styles complemented each other. Like I was deep in the battle, and I had a sniper shooting down at the creatures as I was hitting and striking and slicing and diving away and doing all my madness. And it worked well, and it was a good feeling to have that combat flow together. And so those are some of the elements that I'm going to say off the top. Now, I want to get into some other things here. The game's not coming out until early 2018, just to say the least. And, I'm okay with that. But we're going to get into some deeper concepts here. You're going to be building a base with your buddies. You're going to be gathering resources and doing things like that. That's a big core part of the game. And it's going to be very interesting in the future on what the story is going to be. They didn't reveal anything yet. I'm guessing Thursday will be the reveal for some story elements that's going to really boost up everybody's thing. That, or they'll just have a tech demo, whatever works best for them. The moral of it all is that surprisingly enough, the mechanics from the Phantom Pain have been improved, which is like, what? So now things really change, and it felt very weird for somebody like me who plays the Phantom Pain every week. There's not a week I don't touch that game. It was extremely interesting, a lot of fun, and there's so much stuff in the menu that I couldn't even begin to tell you about. There's endurance, strength, dexterity, the just all those elements that are key for you. And then there's also just the crafting system. You get into the menu, you see all the items you can craft, all the things you can do there. There's so much different variety within there to open up this survival element and make you raise the question, like, how deep does this survival element go? And that's what it's all about. And I think they named the game right. At first, I'm like, Metal Gear Survive. Like, what is this? Just like the rest of us. And then all of a sudden, once we got the word to what it really pertains to, then it made it very interesting. And I said, okay, this can work. And then when I got my hands on it, I'm like, I get this. This is pretty amazing stuff, and I'm really, really, really excited for it. So the tech demo was a good 15 minutes or maybe a little more, and we just went through 3 waves trying to start the generator and then protecting the generator from the first wave, which was the ones that you've seen in all the demo, that the first demo that came out. Then the second wave started being with new creatures, and they were coming by the storm, and it was pretty difficult. And if you don't notice, we're watching D-Walkers. If you don't know what a D-Walker is, guys, it is these small little mechs who you can get on and ride around and shoot people and hit people and do a bunch of crazy stuff. They're pretty fun, and somebody that doesn't use them, like me, as much on the Phantom Pain, I'm using them for this game. They're crucial for this game as far as like being able to dominate and make sure that you don't just lose the mission. So it's a very interesting and fun dynamic there, but there's so much diversity in these play styles and these abilities that I seen on my own, and the new items and stuff. And I was like, okay, this is a whole different game. This is a whole different ballpark. You know, the speculation of this being a copy and paste of the Phantom Pain is not true. They're using some elements as far as environment wise, like, you know, that area that we played in is the Phantom Pain again, but maybe this is for a purpose, and there's a greater purpose behind what they're trying to present to us in the near future. So those are some of the impressions. I'm going to go ahead and do another chat about it later on at another time. But for now, I will take questions. Please go right ahead. Don't go overloading. Ask one question. Let me answer it one at a time. Each person asks one. I'll answer each one, and then we'll go from there about what's happening with the game and what could we expect in the future. And by the way, thank you everybody for coming out and chatting with me and talking. I see all your comments here. And Visions Church, what's up? Those are my buddies. Those are my homies there. Hellverse, yeah, man, start the game. Yeah, if only, huh? But yeah, so I know that there's a delay. So other than that, guys, there's some key components when it comes to crafting. You want to gather a lot of resources. And what's really cool is that the story intertwines with the online co-op. So whatever you get and everything you do, it's really fluid and flows well. And it's really awesome. As far as the D-pad, if you know the Phantom Pain, I don't know if you played it there. I don't know what to call you, the one who asked that question about the D-pad. You have the Japanese name. I have to learn Japanese to say it. But basically the D-pad is the same as the Phantom Pain, but there's new elements, guys. Like, seriously, these items and the way to use them, you're using R1 and L1 for some of your items. The crafting elements now are used with R1 and L1. So R1 is a whole new purpose for it. So it's really, really interesting when it comes to that. As far as the D-pad, you know, you tap up, primary 2 weapons. You tap down your your secondary weapons down there. Then left is going to be your defense, putting up a fence, putting up this, that. Then the right one will be actually just like traps and gadgets and things like that you have. And so you use those, tap them real quick, and just switch back and forth, just like you do in the Phantom Pain, if you know that. Those are still the same, but they're used differently because you have to activate them with R1 and L1 instead of equipping them and then hitting the strike. So they did that for a very good reason, I would say, because, you know, you're in a game mode where you're hitting R1, L1, you're going around, and it makes a little bit of a sense. What about O? Do you mean the O button? The O button, it was used, and I know it's going to be like, what? Everything was transferred over, and this isn't a confirmation of how the end game is going to be, but since I play the Phantom Pain so much, when you hit circle, you normally get on something, or you get extract a player, you pick up a player, you pick up this. And so that was what circle was for in the Phantom Pain. In this game, it's not used the same. It's you crouch with that. You use that for that aspect. There's certain things that did change, I will admit. But you know, X now is the key. X will help you climb up if you want to climb over stuff. You're using X now, and it makes a lot of sense because if I tap XX twice, I do the dive. The dive used to be on the square button, so the square button was strictly for the dive, unless you hit L2 and you can switch your weapons. But now it's so deep that they made it so that the squares for picking up resources and picking up items and things like that, and X is going to be your dive. It's going to be your climbing things, you know. So that's how those go. But those are pretty much some of the impressions on what I got to say about it. There's plenty of other stuff that I'm missing here, but I did a pretty good breakdown there. I hope you guys get that. We're gonna do every single button, man. Nah, we can't do that, dude. But yeah, so the point of it is those button schemes are smoother and they have a lot of flow to them. Now, what I want to get into talking about that flow, the combat, you know, the melee attacking, specifically, I purposely had to play as a melee attacker. I wanted to use the machete and use different weapons and see how it works. And it's pretty basic. You hold L1 and then you strike with you hold L2 and then you strike with R2. And the way that works is pretty basic and simple. You don't have to worry too much about any of the major differences when it comes to that. But there's different ways to use the item. So like I said earlier, if you run and you hit the attack button, then you can really do some damage and do a special animation. For example, my guy does a spin move. He does a spin move and he'll do this devastating blow with this big axe, I guess, that I had. It was a really interesting one. Yeah, we was in the Afghanistan. The tech demo that we're seeing here, the gameplay, is pretty much where we were, and the environment was similar. I didn't check to see if I could change the control options. Maybe you're right about that. That's a good question. I didn't get to try to change them. I didn't want to. I like the new system. I think it can work well. And then they had things like dodging. I would dodge forward when I hit XX, and it was a pretty cool thing. It wasn't a dive, it was a dodge. So Metal Gear having to dodge and a dive is really special. As we know, the dive's always been in the game for the Phantom Pain, but dodge was something that was in the previous games. So they put them both in there. So that makes a lot of sense, and it works well. Now, one key thing that I want to tell you about the online aspect that we saw in one of these videos here, in one of these pictures that I'm going to put up specifically just so you guys can get a look at it, and I can talk about it for a quick second because it was kind of very, very different. And this is it right here, guys. The reason why I want to focus on this for a second is because this right here actually is where you start up. So when you got the main menu, you enter into either story mode, which is single player, maybe, possibly. Who knows? We can't talk about that yet. But then there's the co-op online aspect, and that co-op online aspect is really, really critical. You go into this area here that you see, and you can go around, target practice, fight each other. You can go into a mission. You have to sink in to these circles that you see behind them. When you go behind them, you'll see those circles. Once you get into those circles, it'll activate the mission that you chose. So it's kind of like a really, really fluid experience when it comes to being able to put that in there. And we didn't really hear music. We were focusing on the combat, and I was battling with some friends, and we were just deep into it. I was doing some co-op aspects. So as you can see, that's something that was interesting to say the least. And you go into that menu there, and it's literally a menu because you can go into those circles and activate different parts of it. The customizations, they said this is where it was really critical for me. They said there's no class base. This is not a class based game. This is players get the full freedom to customize what weapon, what gear they want to use. There is no limits to like, oh, I'm a stealth class, so I can't wear no heavy armor. You can rock the heavy armor, but you got to think about the play style that you're gonna do and how that affects your abilities and stuff and what works best for you. There's so many attributes to it, and again, you have oxygen, you have stamina, you have endless amounts of aspects like thirst and hunger, and that's going to be a crucial part for the future. So those are the questions so far that you guys have been asking. I've answered a lot of them, and I think we're good unless you guys got more. There is communication, just like in the Phantom Pain. There's the communication when you play and you say something or whatever. They have that very, very fluid. It's very fun. I actually learned it when I purposely try to go down and get hurt. And when I got hurt, I called out to a friend and I used, the touchpad to activate it. So before, for the thing, you used to have L1 for that, but now since they're using L1 and R1 for your abilities, they changed it to the touchscreen, which made it really interesting and fun. So, yeah. Anyway, how do I get the refreshments is an interesting question, man. They're all over the world. You gotta find the resources and use them. As far as the oxygen, I wouldn't want to say that this world is underwater. I think that's a silly explanation and theory. You're getting wormholed, and there's a lot of elements. There's viruses, just like in the Phantom Pain, possibly. These are all speculation, guys. I'm not going to give you the answer. You want to figure that out as far as the story goes, play the game, and then see what it's like. But overall, it was a pretty good experience. I didn't have much trouble with it other than trying to learn the game in a session, of 20 minutes. You're fighting all these herds, and I literally was just really grinding out to talk about it. The stealth kills, we did one stealth kill. The way it works for that co-op one that I did where we're defending, you're just getting waves of creatures. So before that, you have to get to the actual goal. So now getting to the goal is the stealthy part. And one of the guys, not me, he ran up on somebody and grabbed them and slammed them into a stick, basically, and it hurt him pretty bad and killed them. And it was a really good display. But that was that. Overall, it was an interesting game to play and fun stuff. The survival element is something special. I can agree with you on that, Visions. It's a just great addition to an amazing series. The spin-off needs to be respected as a spin-off, you understand? And it's not a Metal Gear Solid game. It's a Metal Gear Survive game. And I keep saying that because Metal Gear Rising was a Metal Gear Rising game. It wasn't a Metal Gear Solid game. But, yeah. So that was it, man. That's the core of what I can do for as far as impressions and tell you. I didn't do a lot of customizations personally, but everything that they told me when I asked, there is no classes, so the customizations are going to be up to the players to decide how to do that. There's no store for the crafting. You're just going to go to crafting stations. They have small tables in in a building or something like that, and you can create these items and then utilize them in the field at any point you want. And it's really cool. Like I said, you're going to hit L1 as the key to craft to activate whatever you craft. So if I got a torrent, I'm going to run up to a roof, hit L1, and activate it through there. So that's how that works. So yeah, guys, that's the story. I'm not going to stay on too long. We got a lot of stuff to do. I want to tell you guys and show you guys something really cool. Hopefully we don't capture the whole hotel that we're in. We're in a hotel right now, and if you could see, we're here because we're filming a documentary. And what I mean by documentary, if you can see the lighting right there, there's lighting everywhere up top. See that? And then there's also an amazing camera. It's really expensive. So we're filming a documentary, and the documentary was something that we grouped up together. We have two cinematographers, amazing guys who just, decided to get involved with this project, and we ended up grouping up to create an amazing experience to tell people about the gaming industry, to tell people about the communities in the gaming industry, and just get it all together. So we've been working on that really hard. Yesterday, been a little bit of a up and down slope for us, but we had to get through it, and now we're at the point where we're gonna kill it for the last 2 days of E3. We got some interviews that we're gonna be putting out for you guys with some Metal Gear fans, some Metal Gear developers, some other people from all over the industry, whether it's EA and et cetera, et cetera. We're trying to get all of that to you guys. So it's a work in progress. Don't expect a documentary done this week or anything. We have to film it this week, get back home and start editing and doing all those important parts to it to make sure that it's a mastered thing. But we will have many, many things to look forward to when it comes to that. So now, that said, there's tons of stuff for that, and the future will be bright. I'm going to send you guys the links to the guys involved. I'm going to send you guys a link to how to get involved during the filming of it when it's over with. Maybe you guys can submit music, original music to the video editor who's going to be editing it. He's going to put it together. Maybe we want to throw some fan music depending on how, if it's copyright free and there's no issues. So you guys can get involved in different ways. I'm going to do a bunch of different stuff for the community, as you guys always know. But that's in the near future. That said, that's happening, and it's going down tomorrow. I want to go to bed soon. I'm going to try. You get so excited about these things, you don't sleep. But I'm going to try to sleep, and then tomorrow we'll move forward. I'll do another live stream tomorrow with some more information, some more Metal Gear news, and some more just overall E3. I haven't spoken anything about it just yet, but that's the deal, man. As far as how tough these enemies are, they're pretty tough. You can't just one-shot them half the time unless you do a really good headshot or something really cool like that. But yeah, man, again, guys, it was a blast to play the game. I'm actually thrilled, and I'm finally relieved also that it was actually a game that is really good, and it's going to be a lot of fun to hang out with my friends and enjoy it. So I want you guys to get involved with that and hit me up on Twitter. We're going to do giveaways and stuff like that. You want to do a hashtag I am Mad Gamer. Going to have some t-shirts. They are supposed to be getting printed out this week. We had some difficulties with the guy who was printing them, but I will contact him now to remind him. So other than that, everything's cool. It's been a good journey. I appreciate everybody that came out, asked some questions. I did answer every single one of them. And if there's anything else, go right ahead. This is the last 5 minutes of this segment here until tomorrow, where I'll come back and feed you guys some really good news. Alrighty? So keep watching these cutscenes and let me know. I'm going to turn off the camera for now. Final words, guys. Final words. Start talking. Talk. All right, well, there it is, guys. Thank you once again for everybody that watched and talked and asked all these questions. It's really, really fun giving the feedback to the community. Of course, you know what I'm going to be doing in the future. We're going to have streams for this game. We're going to do a lot of big things for this game. Thank you to Hellverse, Fitz, Church, Bad Human. There's too many people here. All of you guys that were on the chat talking. Solid Haven, the Japanese guy that has Japanese words that I can't read. You too. Everybody on here that came by and asked a question. Silent Rainstorm. I see you guys here. I appreciate you guys. Crystal, the difficulties of the waves, you think it's easy because you play the first wave and you're like, we got through it. The second wave started kicking our booties. We had a rough time, and it was a pain in the butt to really survive them when I was using my melee attack. So I started, being a little smarter, and you can flank them. What I started doing, I allowed the enemies to swarm on my friends, and I went behind the enemies and killed them off before they can attack one of my guys. That's what I started doing with the melee attacking, because straight up melee attacking, you can get one or two, but if there's 4, 5, and 6, it's going to start weighing on you, and they're going to hit you hard, and it's not as easy as it looks. But interesting enough, there's going to be some really good dynamics when it comes to combining these guys who are, long range shooters and the other guys. So my thoughts about it is that it's actually a lot of fun. I'm a Metal Gear fan, and I was a little skeptical, like, what is happening with the series? They're changing it up, but this isn't Metal Gear Solid. Again, this is Metal Gear Survive. So we went in, we saw, we conquered. It was fun, and now we're moving on to a new part, a new set spinoff that's going to be really, really dynamic and interesting. So I like the spinoff. It's actually gameplay, core mechanics were improved. Sorry if you weren't here for the whole stream, but I am going to close this off very soon. It's really great stuff. As far as gameplay, I'm pretty sure by the end of the week they're going to have footage for you guys. I don't have the footage. I'm giving you guys pictures, which is as far as we can go for now. Did they confirm that I'm going to be there Thursday? No, but I'm 100% certain that there's no way that the week ends without that, and that's just coming from somebody who's dealt with this type of stuff for a while. If it isn't, quote me and send me a tweet saying idiot. I don't care. Yeah, I appreciate it too, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for saying you appreciate it. I try to do my best to give it to you guys. If you didn't watch, you can watch it on Twitch. You can replay it on. I'm on all of these. I'm on Beam. I'm on YouTube, Twitch. I'm on Periscope. I'm on like 7 different outlets, and they all have the video. So go rewatch it. I'm pretty sure I answered every question possible for this stream. Thank you guys once again. We'll catch up you again tomorrow. I'm gonna have some more, hopefully, exclusives. We're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff. Maggamer.com is the website. We're gonna be putting out as much content as we go. See you guys soon. Take care. Peace out. I'm gonna be on the chat. We could chat for a little while.